Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. This is Miss Kapow, and it's Freedom Friday. It's March 23rd, 2018. Brother Kapow, are you here?
Yeah, I was just...
You're so quiet, which is very unusual.
It is, but I was just taken aback by your professionalism. It's just amazing the way
You're so full of tuna.
Tuna. That's funny.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Ms.
And we got some exciting news to share with our listeners.
We do, but you know what?
What?
I have to, let me just say this.
Oh, all right.
It's getting to the point. There's madness and insanity all around you. The world is just, when I say society is collapsing, civilization is collapsing. The human is failing. It really is. Not only that, but the earth changes. I'm not talking global warming and all that other nonsense. I'm talking about real storms and weather and floods and volcanoes and unprecedented events globally that CNN or Fox News, no one's talking about. No one's talking about. You're going to have to go on YouTube, type in earth changes or something like that. There's several people out there doing this stuff. And I got to tell you, it used to be Miss Kapow and I would watch a video at the end of the month because it'd compile all the crazy weather stuff for a month. But now they're compiling it, and I kid you not, every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and that's not an exaggeration either.
No. And this year alone has had unprecedented hail, floods, storms, snow, unbelievable. So my point is, it's all coming to a close. And then our society, the way humans are demonized, it's unbelievable. They're crazy. So I want to start by saying this. If you're willingly listening to the Freedom Friday show and our other show, Kapow, which is more biblical study, then you are the audience we are talking to. You are the sane people that still say something is wrong. This is not normal. This ain't right. And you and us, we are getting smaller and smaller in scope.
Yeah.
There's less and less of you and us around. I'm serious, especially when it comes to biblical stuff. You are our audience. That's why we don't have a lot of people anymore, because it's there. I'm serious, because there is a real demarcation point now between the mentally insane and those who are still thinking. And I don't want to use the word normal, and I quit using the word common sense because there's no such thing anymore. Logical. You just ask yourself, is that logical behavior? Is that a logical thing to say or do? That's all. It's not common sense because there's no common sense. I'm not just talking isolated stories. It's all around you. We get comments, we get emails from people, and they say the same thing. Or you hear people, they're just wandering around the grocery store and they're going, what is wrong with people? They're insane. They're nuts. Unbelievable. So we are going to talk about, for us, it's local. The Las Vegas transgender, lesbian, gay LBGTQ 123456, Area 51, Center for these totally spiritually defunct people that really need to be delivered from demonic entities and lies, who think they're another gender. But this story's very interesting because not only does it focus on, them and how, what a bad week they're having, but all the new Nevada state laws and things that are coming our way, and they're coming your way because your state has the same stuff going on. Trust me.
That's why this is all global.
Yeah, it's global. And transgenderism is I would say it's a mental illness, but it is a spiritual illness. It's not logical. It's not natural. But it started with the whole gay agenda, and we all knew that. You're listening to me. You understand what I'm saying. Then we're going to talk about these scientists who are supporting the gay agenda. I mean, the transgender agenda. They've already supported the gay one, the transgender. Scientists. I don't know where they get these so-called scientists from, And then we're going to talk about this guy who thinks he's an artist and he likes cooking human flesh. It just shows you where we're at. About this crazy woman who, her and her iPhone, I'm not going to give it away. You got to listen to this. And then about the Uber car, the artificial intelligence.
Yes, the self-driving car.
That went crazy. And then we're going to talk about pedestrians and why they're getting killed. And then you're going to have a beautiful day. And you're going to say, holy moly,
it's
macaroni.
All good.
So if you give us the scripture, we'll get on with it.
Okay, I will. The scripture I have for today is Isaiah 3. It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. And as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord stands up to plead, and stands to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, and the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? Moreover, the Lord says, Because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornament of the legs, and the headbands and the and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the linen, the fine linen, the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and instead of and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gate shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Let's start off from the Nevada Independent newspaper. You see the picture of these two individuals?
Yes. And you know, I see faces and things. And when I mean faces, I mean demonic entities. And I notice, well, this picture, in fact, they have the blurry ones in the front. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of faces in there. Mm-hmm. But then if you look at the two that are sitting in the middle, in their hair, there's a whole bunch of demonic faces too.
Wow. Doesn't surprise me. Of course.
Fuji.
Of course, everything I'm going to read to you, every time it says he, when it says he, it's really a female. If I say she, as the article's written, it's really a male. Okay? There's no gender male or female here. They're the opposite of what they are because they think they're opposite. All right? But what's important is some of the legislative things in this article, and just kind of the mindset of these goofs and how they're just forcing this down you. If you can look at this picture, you go to our Facebook page on Fifth Hook Media, Facebook, you'll see the picture of these yahoos. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about. It's called Support Group Offers Window into How Las Vegas Treats Its Transgender Residents. Now, remember, Las Vegas is Sin City. There's prostitution, gambling. You can get anything you want in Las Vegas for money. So if they're complaining they're not being treated nice, that's pretty amazing. It goes on. It says, get rid of all the fluff. They're sitting around in a circle at this LGBT group, and it's a support group for transgenders. And the person running it goes by the name Blue Montana. It's a female that's dressed like a man. So it comes off like it's a man, but it's a female. Blue Montana. So Blue Montana takes a seat. He introduces himself. I'm going to use the pronouns they're using, but you have to understand it's a her. There's some strangers there, some friends, blah, blah, blah. And he opens up with the group and he says, my pronouns are he/him. This week so far was good. Then the introductions continue in that pattern. Someone says, my name is T. I don't have a pronoun right now. I think I had a good week. Mm-mm. And then another one says, I'm Harper. Female pronouns. My week has been terrible. And then another one says, my name is Geneva. Pronouns she and her. Last week was pretty crappy and I'd rather not talk about it. All right, so let me stop there, and I want to tell you that's listening to me. My name is Brother Kapow. My pronouns are Fifth Hook/media. That's what I want you to call me. So there's good weeks and bad weeks, and they're talking at a support group called Transgender. It's at the Gay and Lesbian Community Center of Southern Nevada. We got to go there, Ms. Kapow.
Yeah.
We got to go there and pass out some flowers. It's a support group for transgender people and their loved ones. Okay, let me stop there. Why do you think transgender people need a support group? Why do they need one? Hello, anybody out there? Because they're messed up in the head. They're messed up in the head. They think a man thinks he's a woman and a woman thinks she's a man. It's not logical. That's why they need a support group, because they're screwed up. Does anybody else see this? Well, it's been a rough few weeks for the Southern Nevada transgender community. You know why? Because they're all hanging around their favorite bar, which is a trans-friendly bar called the Las Vegas Lounge. I go there all the time. They have the best, what is it, rum chaka? What do people drink? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be caught dead there. But apparently somebody drove by and fired some bullets and hit somebody in the leg, and they don't know if it was a hate crime or not. It's Las Vegas. They shoot people every day there. People die by the droves in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with you dressing like a chick or a man. I just think people are crazy, and they shoot guns.
It's lawlessness there.
Yeah, they're nuts. So anyway, there's also an ongoing debate over the Clark County. That's the county Las Vegas is in. The school district there is a proposed gender diverse policy, and the creation of that is part of a new state law. And I'm telling you, it's a Nevada state law, and if you don't have one already, you're going to have one. And it's the Nevada Department of Education's been crafting this statewide regulation that basically what it is an anti-bullying, cyberbullying, and bullying policy. Because now you got to have state law to protect each other, these liberals from bullying each other, because everybody's sensitive. Everybody's like...
But it only goes one way.
Yeah, it only goes one way. Yeah. That's right. So, but there's opponents who say that the policy will infringe on their children's privacy, safety, and cultural norms.
That's right.
So, I looked at the state law that's being proposed, and it's 1 million pages. So I was barfing by the time I got to page 16, but I found it. And basically, like I said, it's an anti-bullying, anti-cyber thing. They got to write 500 pages to make this law. It's unbelievable. But the policy, they're requiring all the districts to do a policy. It has to include, without limitation, training in appropriate methods to facilitate positive human relations among pupils by eliminating the use of bullying, cyberbullying, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, you can't listen to this show. You wouldn't ever be able to bring Kapow Radio Freedom Friday on your phone to school because you would be in violation of state law. Seriously, folks, I'm serious. They would be violating law. Training and methods to prevent and identify and report incidents of bullying and cyberbullying. And here it is. Number 3, training concerning the needs of persons with diverse gender identities or expressions. And that comes right under, right before number 4, which is training concerning the needs of pupils with disabilities and pupils with autism spectrum disorder. So they lump them together. Yeah, if your state doesn't have that, it's coming your way. Of course it is. This is the push. This is a demonic push. All right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, they're meeting in this room, and it's a safe space for them. And so they all start talking about their transition and how their week went, and their parents don't accept them. And people even in Vegas aren't real accepting when they find out and this and that. And they encourage each other and they go, they'll come around and blah, blah, blah. And AJ or Blue Montana, who's pretending to be a man, he says they don't know any better. They really don't. They're speaking out of ignorance. See, so everybody else is wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we're not, because we think we're another gender. That we weren't born that way. But everybody else is ignorant.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, Ms. Kapow. It only goes one way.
That's right.
Only goes one way. So they go on and they help each other and all this stuff. And they say Vegas is a lot better than places like, Kansas City and things like that. And this one dude named Martina Diamante says that Salvation Army here in downtown Las Vegas provides a safety dorms to homeless transgender people. Mm-hmm. So when you donate money, and I have, In 2017, I donated money to the Salvation Army.
Yep.
Our local one here in Mesquite, but I keep getting letters from Las Vegas because they want my checkbook also. But when you donate money to them, I wasn't aware that they were providing separate spaces, using that money to provide separate spaces for spiritually ill people like this. Mm. Yeah, it's more money and more cost to separate them because they're safe, because they're not, they're dressed as chicks or chicks dressed as dudes. It's not logical.
No, but they can't see that.
Yeah. Now here's something that it griped me because, of taxes and money that comes out of your check and stuff. A recent policy announcement seems to support, that at least Nevada is supporting the trans community better. Earlier this year, the Nevada Medicaid program, that's free government cheese, right, folks? Mm-hmm. It extended coverage to include gender reassignment surgery. Now, that really chaps me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That really chaps me. I don't even want to get on, Obamacare and the affordable medical care crap and all that stuff. And here's these people that could get free gender reassignment surgeries. You see what I mean? It's socialism. Socialism is Satanism. It's slavery. These people are slaves to Satan. Mm-hmm. Now, soon, the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles hopes to debut a new policy that would allow people to choose the gender they identify with for driver's licenses. As it stands now, people must bring a medical form from a doctor if they want to change the gender on their state ID. But now, the change is pending approval from the Legislative Commission that you can just go in there and say, well, my name is Candace. It used to be Paul, now it's Candace. But they don't think through. It's not logical.
It's chaos.
Just yesterday, Ms. Kapow and I renewed our passports. Yay. We've had these passports for 10 years, and they were coming due, so we renewed them. And we were able to just print the forms online, answer a few questions, package them up, give the government their pound of flesh, and be done with it. But one of the big things is you can't do it that easy. You're going to have to go to a passport center if you changed your name or got remarried. And you know what I mean? You have to show a paper trail that, you used to be Miss Kapow, but now you're Miss Pow Pow. Right? And right on the form, it asks you for your social security number, your name, other names that you might be going after and stuff. But then it says male or female. It doesn't give you any other choices, male or female. Mm-mm. You can't say, well, I prefer my pronouns, /media. But so now you have a driver's license that says, well, you once were Paul, but now you're Chelsea. Now you're going to go and try to get a passport because you can't you can't go on a plane and you can't go to another country. But that's not going to work. Mm-mm. Just because you say it's not going to work. You have to show a paper trail why you're now Chelsea. You see what I mean? Yep. But they don't think through to this stuff. Mm-mm. So it might be fine on the state level, but it's not going to be fine on the federal level.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. It's not logical. I would say common sense. There's no common sense. Mm-mm. So anyway, I'd rather beat a dead horse. And this is the longest article, folks. I'm going to get on shorter articles, but I just want to bring some things out because it is coming your way if it isn't already there. It depends on where you live. And this is where the satanic agenda is taking you with this transgender crapola. Mm-hmm. It's crapola. Anyways, one gal says she's been physically threatened, because transgender. Yeah, probably if you're at a bar trying to meet dudes and you look like a chick and they find out, it could be dangerous. Yeah. But here's some good news, folks. They want to start a visible united front, and they want to work on that. So I want you to mark your calendars because all of you are gonna want to participate in this. I kid you not. Write it down. March 31st marks Transgender Visibility Day. TVD. I like to call it TSD or transsexual disease transmission or day or whatever. March 31st is Transgender Visibility Day. It's a time reserved for honoring these transgender people around the world, and also raising awareness about the discrimination they still face, especially from podcasts like this that are misunderstanding and angry and hateful and bullying. The center will be hosting, now the LBGT Center there in Vegas, are hosting related events. And Blue Montana says he encourages the group members to keep their heads up each day, even in the face of discouraging incidents, garnering headlines, family struggles, or daily snide comments from strangers were visible all the time, he tells the group, not just on the month of March. So, mark your calendars. March 31st is Mentally Ill Day. I know. I'm not going to be on the podcast very much longer, but you know that. It is true. If some kid had Freedom Friday and had this show in their hands, and then they're going to go to school under the new...
They would be suspended, if not expelled.
Yeah. Bullying policy and hate speech and all that other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's no... What? I thought we had free... What? Free speech? Oh, it's free speech only goes one way.
Only one way.
Okay, in a related article, Ms. Kapow, scientists...
Yeah.
Have they... Oh, they discovered a cure for cancer. Is that what they're working on, Ms. Kapow? Did I read that right? Good news. Scientists discovered a cure for cancer and a common cold.
No.
No?
No.
Well, what have they been working on then?
They have uncovered 20 genes that are linked to being transgender.
So they're supporting claims that the condition has a physical basis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? You see what I mean? Really? Scientists uncovered 20 genes that say that, well, there's a physical condition why you think you're an opposite.
Yeah, so you're not really mental.
Gender.
It's a physical.
Yeah, and they did that just like gayness. Oh, they're born gay. It's not a cultural thing. They're born gay. Bull! Crap! You become gay when you get a gay Nephilim demon disembodied spirit inside of you. That's when you become gay. Period. You're not born that way. You yield to the sin in your life, the lust of your flesh, and you become perverse. Mm-hmm. Same thing with these people.
Yep.
United States researchers tested, oh gosh, this is a big study. This is huge. What's a big study to you, Ms. Kapow? How many thousands of people would you test or analyze to have a credible study?
200 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 200, maybe 1,000, a couple of hundred. I mean, at least to make a credible study. Well, they tested 14. You see what I mean? Dude, is this logical? Am I in a different... This is a whole different parallel universe than what I came from. If I was in university earning my degree and my professor said, we're going to do an assignment, a research assignment on whatever, and I had to go out and I had to do the science, and I had to do this because I have a degree in behavioral science. I had to use a scientific method of research. And if I went out and I said, I talked to 14 female to male people and also 16 male to female patients, and here's my findings. I would have got an F. I would have got an F, man. But no, these are scientists. And the latest findings point towards transgender identity having a physical basis. Dr. Ricky Lewis, I bet you Ricky Lewis is a transgender.
You got it.
Yeah. Well, that person's a geneticist. And that person said, well, I don't know its pronouns. I don't know if it's a he or she. Because Ricky spelled R-I-C-K-I.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But anyway, it said it lends legitimacy. If that needs to be added, that transgender is not a choice, but a way of being. Mm-hmm. I'm born screwed up in the head. I was born confused. And now I need a support group because people are discriminating against me. 20 genes. They believe the gene variations may contribute to people identifying with the opposite sex. But critics, like Brother Kapow and Ms. Kapow, say the condition's all in the head. But transgender people have a psychological problem rather than a medical one. But by highlighting genetic mutations that affect brain development, the latest findings point towards transgender identity having a physical basis. And that's determined from testing 14 female to males and 16 male to females. That's it. Less than what, 20 or 30 people? Mm-hmm. And guess where they were tested? At a gender reassignment clinics.
Oh, of course.
And they presented this great research using under 30 people at the Society for Reproductive Investigation Conference. And they said, Eureka, we identified genetic variants in 20 genes that may play a role in transgender identity. You know what those genes are, those other variant genes? It's called messed up. It's called your DNA was changed when you allowed demons to come into your body and you're a host.
Yeah.
The most promising of these include variants of genes involved in neurologic development and sex hormones. So in other words, you really don't know if it's transgender or not. You have no idea. You just noticed something off and said, well, this could be it. You might as well say that 16 of them ate Lay's potato chips and the other ones ate Fritos.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think they're after the truth, obviously. They want to hide in darkness. So they're just legitimatizing their behavior, their lie.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
It's like, see? We're not making this up.
Yeah. It's the same thing they did with the gay thing. Mm-hmm. The gays. You know, you're born that way.
That's why the word says they like to stay in darkness. They don't want the light. Mm-mm. They don't want truth. They want to hide and stay the way they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Art. What's art? Huh? Who's a Picasso out there? Who's a little Picasso?
Well, I tell you what, this person in this article is not a Picasso. I wouldn't even say this person is.
Yeah, who's that weird crazy lady Maria?
That
Braca witch, who likes to bathe in blood and sperm and they call it art. Now, here's something. I'm going to give you a little clue, folks. Here's something. When you read articles like this and you see these people doing these very disgusting things, there's an agenda behind it. There's absolutely a satanic agenda in desensitization.
And it's part of Agenda 21.
Yeah, it's all part of that. It's all part of where they want to take humankind. Absolutely. But when you look at what they're doing, you always have to see it for what it is. It's detestable. It's disgusting. It's an abomination, what they do. You know, drinking blood or bathing in blood or eating sperm, eating human flesh, eating feces, sex with children, transgenderism. It's abomination, right? It's disgusting. Well, if you notice, all of that stuff is exactly what repulses the Creator God.
Yeah.
So though there's other agendas behind it, the real agenda is that's what demons do. They're demonic. They're disgusting. They're anti-God. They're anti-Christ. So anything that when God says, thou shalt not murder, what do?
Murder.
They murder. When God says, thou shalt not drink the blood, the life is in the blood, what do? Drink the blood. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt not be a whore. What do?
They
They're a horse. The bottom line is it's abomination and detestable. It's demonic. That's what they do. This piece here is called Meat Market.
Oh.
It's a creepy cannibal. He calls himself a chef. He slices flesh from people's bodies. Now he fries it and feeds it to them in bizarre live Facebook stream. Now there was one commentator down there, some guy, some smart aleck said, was the flesh seasoned? The cops in Latvia, they're looking into it, but they say there's no crime. There's no law that was been broken. Now there's pictures of this guy. He dresses like in a white hazmat suit.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get their blood on him.
No. And he has surgical gloves on. He takes a scalpel. Now there's a female and a male, and their backs are exposed. And it looks like he's taken a chunk of flesh from their
backside.
Yeah. And then he with a scalpel, he takes a chunk of their flesh out. And it's a horrifying moment in a crazed performance. And then he goes to a frying pan and he cooks up this flesh. And then he has these people stand up. It's a male and female. And he feeds their own flesh to them.
Ah, good night, America. Oh.
And and then he puts it on Facebook, a live stream. Well, viewers were disgusted. They should be, because that tells you that there's still humans out there.
See, but what's sad is that the more and more that they, bringing this out in the open, and they have these stupid shows about cannibalism, you become desensitized. Mm-hmm. And then now where you're repulsed, it's like, oh, that's not bad. You know what I mean?
It's just art. Yeah.
And he's 33. That number is so creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. Ms. Kapow brings up that great point. The article says he's 33 years old. 33, not 32, not 34, 33. And the name of his performance is called Eschatology. Eschatology. And it was on mockery. March. And again, which is a mockery to biblical prophecy. Actually, he's using a theological term to describe biblical prophecy. It's called eschatology, eschatological studies. He's using that term. Why? And guess when he showed the show, Ms. Kapow. Here's another number. March 6th. That's 333. March 6th. 333. And he's 33 years old. It's all over. They hide in plain sight. You read this and you know exactly where it comes from. So anyway, it was stomach-churning footage, and it shows this guy taking a chunk of flesh, frying it up, and then he feeds it in their mouths. People complained. The cops looked into it, and they can't do nothing about it because there's no crime. Let's take a disgusting commercial break, then we'll be back.
Demons in My Marriage Bed, a true story of spiritual warfare, changed the way my spouse and I conduct spiritual battle and has increased our alertness level to the tactics of Satan. This is an excellent training manual for building a stronger marriage by exposing the tactics your enemies use against you from all online digital retailers. God bless you all.
If you have not picked up your copy of Demons in My Marriage Bed, a true story of spiritual warfare, you're missing out.
You're missing out.
No, you
are.
You
know the other thing that I know that you're talking about the book, but I was thinking about that cannibal story. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the backdrop behind it all is like to promote vegetarianism, because you get so disgusted and you're thinking, I can't eat meat. This is gross. Like what they were doing with the animals, the abuse of animals. A lot of people decided, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I wonder if there is some kind of a, ploy to get people to buy into this vegetarianism too.
Yeah, that's a
You know
that's
what I
a
mean?
really
Just something that I just thought of that. And
yeah, that's really a good.
because it makes you weak and
Yeah, and I'm thinking a lot of like, now the animal stuff with the green slime.
yeah.
McDonald's using pieces of human, in them. Oh, how about all the fibers in fast food? All those mystery fibers. Mm-hmm. So then you're going, you know what? I'm just eating vegan. I'm not ever, right?
Yeah, because they do push that a lot.
Yeah. So that
very new agey.
So you get weak in the mind, weak in the spirit. Yeah, and then and then you bring in the other new agey stuff to it. Huh. Interesting, Miss Powell.
Yeah, I just think it opens you up to stuff.
Yeah, almost like this is the diversion to get you, that's disgusting. You don't see this kind of art with a piece of celery. Right? Unless you put human feces on your celery and join the Illuminati and become a big movie star. Oh, how about this woman? I think she's Chinese. Yes, she's a 47-year-old Chinese woman. 47 years old. I consider that an adult.
See, and 47 equals 11.
Ah, everywhere. Well, this one's called Mobile Madness. She's a woman who stared at her phone for 20 hours straight, and she nearly died from blood clots on the brain.
Can you imagine?
Can't.
Jiminy.
Wow. Now,
It's a lot of emails she's got to catch up on.
Apparently, she was playing games.
Oh, yeah.
Games on her phone.
All right.
Folks, this is just totally mental and spiritual retardation and degradation. This is not normal. This is not logical. This defies common sense. It's just, globally, humans have become addicted to this tech. And they're enslaved to it. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's so satanic.
Oh, yeah.
So satanic. She just didn't wake up and do this today.
Mm-mm. She's been conditioned.
Yeah. So she almost died after she spent 20 hours on a train journey lying on her side and playing on her mobile phone. Medics say the 47-year-old Chinese migrant worker developed life-threatening blood clots on her brain. She was traveling from somewhere on a train, and the train was congested, and she was either unable or unwilling to move from her prone position. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as she got off the train, this is 20 hours of riding on a train in a prone position, glued to her phone. Now, that's a good battery, too.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of phone that is. As soon as she got off the train, she got off the station, and she fainted on the platform. They rushed her to the hospital, and she had developed life-threatening blood clots to her brain. Now, check this out. They have a picture of her in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
On her hospital bed. And guess what she's doing? She's on her phone. She's recovering in the hospital, and she's still glued to the phone. That's demonic.
Yep.
That's like being addicted to crack or meth or anything else.
See, because that, it is because of the her being driven. It's a lust.
Yes. Satan
And
drives.
that's the first clue right there.
Yeah, it's a lust. Crazy. Yeah. So she got blood clots because of her position of her neck. Dude, this is just nuts. Okay, speaking of technology, I'm not a big fan of self-driving cars. That kind of scares me. I don't know. I don't trust the robots at that point. But anyway, call me old-fashioned, but a self-driving Uber car has killed its first human.
Yep.
Right here in Tempe, Arizona. Dashcam video of deadly self-driving Uber crash is released. I watched this video, and it's bizarre. It has two angles. It's only 21 seconds long. It has two angles. One is the outside dash cam, and this car's just going down the road, and all of a sudden, in its headlights, you see this pedestrian walking her bike across the street. And the footage, they stopped the footage right before it shows the impact, it killing her, obviously. And then the other footage is a camera pointing back inside the car. And I don't know anything about self-driving cars. I'm really ignorant here. But apparently there's a human in the car that has to operate the self-driving car, or is there just in case something goes wrong, which doesn't make sense to me, because if you have a self-driving car, why do you need a human in there in case something goes wrong? Why don't you just drive the car? It's not logical. Does that make sense? Am I being crazy?
Mm-mm.
If you got to be in there anyway, why don't you just drive the damn car?
Because that would be too logical. I'm just saying.
Okay. So the inside camera shows the woman operating the vehicle has her head down the whole time. She's like looking at the dash or looking around. Well, that's not her fault. She's in a self-driving car. Mm-hmm. Why should she be paying attention to the road and what's going on if the car is driving itself? So I don't see where she's to blame.
Mm-mm.
But she's looking around. She's not paying any attention. And why should she? If I was in the back of a taxi cab and had a driver drive me around, I wouldn't be looking at the road. You'd be doing other stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. And, of course, the pedestrian's not at fault. She was crossing her street on her bike. I mean, granted, you see headlights coming and it's not slowing down. You might want to get out of the way. But that's for the next story. So this 49-year-old woman was hit, and she's dead. She's dead. And the video, it's very disturbing. It is. It's heartbreaking to watch. It really is. Because you just see, this is a dead woman now. Just like that. One day she's alive. She's riding her bike about 10 o'clock at night in a Phoenix suburb there in Tempe, Arizona. And 44 years old. And now she didn't come back home. That's scary. Mm-hmm. Because she's hit by artificial intelligence. She's hit by a robot. It killed a human.
Yeah.
And you can't take it to court. You can take Uber to court. You can't take the AI to court. So what do you do?
I know. Now, on another note to the story, did you see the pictures of these ladies?
I did.
And don't you think the one that was driving looks kind of transgender? Looks
like a dude. It looks exactly like a dude with hair, with a man bun.
But its name is Rafaela.
Yeah. Well, that's almost a clue, Rafaela, because usually transgender people go overboard on their names, like Blue Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rafaela. It looks just like a dude.
It's creepy.
Well, maybe transgender people, that's why they have self-driving cars, because genetically they were born that way to not drive cars.
Yep.
Scientists could probably prove that.
Yep. It's one of the genes.
It's one of the genes.
I don't drive.
And they're picking on me because I don't drive. Well, it's amazing. The video shows her looking down and not paying attention. I don't know why she would. And then all of a sudden she looks up and then sees the car crashing into this gal. Unbelievable.
That has to be terrible.
Yeah.
I know. I'd feel terrible.
Now, the experts say that the vehicle has LiDAR. It's a combination of laser and radar. And it can see in the dark better than humans or cameras. Mm-hmm. And it should have detected Hertzberg, the victim.
Should have. But it didn't.
It didn't.
And it killed a woman.
Yeah. Because apparently it can't see better in the dark. And here's what they say. It absolutely should have been able to pick her up.
Yeah.
From what I see in the video, it sure looks like it's the car's fault, not the pedestrian. How could it be the pedestrian's fault?
Yeah.
What'd she do? Want to commit suicide while she's walking her bike across the road? She knew that there was a robot behind the wheel? So anyway.
Nonsense.
So this is gonna kind of change that whole self-driving car vehicle thing here for a while. They're going to be scrambling. They just weren't ready for it. Mm-mm. They weren't ready for it. And a story that's related. Here's the last story. It says, as pedestrian deaths spike, scientists scramble for answers. Scientists!
I know, and isn't that sad that they even have to have a study on this?
Yeah. So when they're not busy interviewing 14 dudes who think they're chicks and 16 chicks who think they're dudes, they're doing this. They're very busy. They're very busy. Scientists, yeah. Because they've cured cancer. They've cured the common cold.
Diabetes.
They've cured diabetes. Have you noticed this year there was no flu this year at all in the country? None.
Yeah.
Because the scientists cured it, people.
Yeah.
They started a colony on Mars. Gosh. And so now they have nothing else to do, really. So they're investigating why pedestrians are dying. It's not logical. Here's the deal. The article opens up and it says, on Monday, the nascent self-driving vehicle sector reached an unfortunate milestone when, for the first time, a self-driving car killed a pedestrian in Tempe, Arizona. That's the article we just talked about. This means robot drivers are becoming more like their human predecessors who kill thousands of pedestrians a year.
That's nice.
And they do it more efficiently because they don't even slow down. They don't even honk.
And they don't care.
They don't care. And you can't sue them and you can't yell at them and you can't shoot them. Okay, that number has risen dramatically in the past several years. In 2016, that's 2 years ago, cars hit and killed nearly 6,000 pedestrians.
Wow.
And it's a serious spike from the historic low, which was below 4,000 in 2009. But to be fair, I'm telling you right now, in 1979, there was something like, I want to say, 8,000 people got killed by cars. But because of that, in 1979, 8,000 people got killed. A bunch of laws came out and a bunch of awareness came out, and they made pedestrian safety more safe. More crosswalks, more line, blah, 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 blah. And so over the years, over the decades, that number has gone down until 2016.
Sure.
And it spiked. So they want to know why. Now, some people, now they talk to different experts, scientists.
Yeah, they're the experts.
Okay. And they have different opinions. Well, this guy, Richard Redding, I don't know why he's a scientist. He's a general manager of Sam Schwartz, which is a New York City-based traffic engineering firm. So I guess he could be a scientist engineering. But you know what he's blaming it on? The Great Recession.
I thought he was going to blame it on Bush or something.
He should have blamed it on Trump. Well, some people are so mad at Trump, they're looking down at their Trump phones and they get killed. The Great Recession. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He says when fewer people have jobs, they spend less time out and about. I disagree. I think when people are not working, that's all they do is hang out in the parks, hang out in the malls. They just hang out in the street because they're bored. They have nothing else to do. And, idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, not this guy, because he has a job as an engineer. So he says their exposure to potential crashes drops. But when times are good, opposite happens. Economic changes. People are happy, so they're outside doing things, and they die. This guy is an engineer. He's a smart guy. This is his answer. Okay, so how about other factors? Here's another guy. Oh, I'm sorry, a chick. Laura Sant, S-A-N-D-T, Sant.
Sant.
I don't think it's a transgender. I think it's a real female. Her pronouns are he, she. My pronouns are fifth hook / media. Don't forget. So, Ms. Kapow, when I go when somebody goes, where's Paul go? Oh, fifth hook is at Walmart. Okay. Or fifth
How
hook.
about just tuna? Tuna is at Walmart.
So, what you're doing, you're taking away my trans. You see how you are? You're a hater, man. I need a support group. See how you do? You call me Tuna, and I want to be called Fiddle.
Just go to your safe place.
I was born with makeup.
You ain't getting no sympathy from me.
Okay. So Laura Sant. That's hard. Sant. She says demographics is why people are dying. They know that a 60-year-old person, because 60-year-olds aren't screwed up in the head, right? According to Laura. Well, how old are you, Laura? She says a 6-year-old person hit by a car is more likely to die than a 25-year-old. Really? That's not true.
I don't agree with that. If I get hit by a car that's going, let's say, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And a 25-year-old gets hit by a car going 60 miles an hour, we're both going to die.
Yeah, you're both pushing daisies.
I don't think that one's going to survive.
No, but not according to Laura. She's a scientist, dang it. She's a director of Pedestrian and Bicycle Information Center at the University of North Carolina. I don't know how she's a scientist, but it says scientists are trying to figure it out. I haven't run across one yet.
You always is stupid.
You always is stupid. She says her team factors in things like time of day and the weather, which both might influence visibility. But it spiked 2,000 people. It's been raining a lot, Laura. I don't know. People might be drunk, intoxicated drivers. Pedestrians are more likely to be involved in fatal crashes, blah, blah, blah. Design factors like the speed limit. Faster cars are more likely to hit and kill slow, soft bodies. Really? Well, so how about a horse and buggy? I think they can kill you a slow, soft body, too. These people aren't dying on the freeway, Laura. They're dying in crosswalks. On city streets, Laura. I know you're the director of Bicycle and Pedestrian Information Center at the university, so you know a lot of stuff, but you're really stupid. She's stupid. She says in a lot of places where pedestrian crashes occur, the road isn't inherently safe for all modes of travel. What does that mean, Laura? What the... Oh. Okay. So there is a department, though, Ms. Kapow. Trump's going to disband it, I'm sure, as soon as he reads this article. But Federal Department of Transportation, they track pedestrian deaths since 1975.
Wow.
And the early numbers painted a stark picture. In 79, all-time high, 8,000 people died. So, like I said, what they did is they enacted laws and crosswalks and stiffer punishments for drunk people. Blah, blah, blah. And from 79 to 2009, that number was cut in half. It's remarkable. And
I don't believe any of this stuff.
Oh, no. No, I'm looking for the agenda here. Maybe you can see it. But anyway, it was remarkable. But in 2010, pedestrian fatalities jumped back up. Now, what was the big thing in 2010? What really came out? The iPhone stuff. Since 2008 on, that's when a lot of people started getting the personal pocket computers and the addiction. I think that's one of it. Distraction has to be. 2010, the numbers start climbing. Something remarkable's happened. They say that the numbers now are jumping off the graph. They still think it's economic booms. Blah blah blah. Let's see. He says this Redding guy suspects the spike in deaths may be coming from a factor outside his discipline's regular data sets. Smartphone use. Between 2010 and 2016, the number of smartphones increased, check this out, from 78 million to 262 million.
Wow.
No wonder we're so screwed up. In the same time period, annual wireless data use rose 400%. So he says, we already know that distraction is a serious concern for both drivers and peds. People aren't seeing threats. It makes everyone more vulnerable. He doesn't have enough data to determine that relationship between smartphone and traffic deaths, because no one's going to admit, I was on my phone when I killed this guy. And a lot of them, believe it or not, are hit and runs.
I believe that.
So the gal, Laura Sant, now this is interesting. She agrees that macro level trends are compelling, and she likens the uptick in phone use to a form of impairment, right? Yeah, because you're impaired. You're an impaired driver if you got your nose in your phone while driving or walking. And she says, comparable to the way drinking or drugs affect the brain. Now, this is in parentheses in the article. I think this is interesting. Incidentally, Redding's, the first guy, the engineer, says, incidentally, Redding's research shows that the 8 states that have legalized recreational weed saw a 16.4 increase in pedestrian traffic deaths between 2016 and 17. I'm telling you right now, they don't want that number out. And that's why it's in parentheses, hidden. They don't want that number out because of all the tax revenue and all the tax money we're making and everybody's stoned. But people are dying because they're impaired. So anyway, it goes on and on. But don't you find that very weird?
I do find that very strange. But you know what? These people that walk around here,
I know.
They don't even have to have a phone. They're totally oblivious to whatever is going on around them. And they just walk wherever they want. They don't look around them. They're not aware of anything that's around them. Nothing. It's almost like there's nobody there but themselves. It's insane.
It is. You would think a lot of times I look for earbuds in the ears or headphones or something because they walk around like that, like they can't hear something. And you're driving right and you go, don't you see my car? Don't you hear it?
Don't you hear it? Don't you see it? You just automatically think these people are going to stop for you or that it's your right of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have any process of thinking. Like, ooh, that car is going way too fast. Even though I'm a pedestrian and I have the right of way because this is a walkway and the law says they should stop for me, that car is going way too fast. I don't think he's going to stop in time. So I'm going to wait here and let him pass.
Yeah.
No, they just keep walking. It's retarded.
Yeah.
It's retarded.
They won't turn and look.
Oh, gosh. No.
Well, God forbid, make eye contact. Like you see me here in the walkway? Yes, I do. You know? Oh, it's a crazy world, Ms. Kapow.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is mind alteration. You know what I mean? You're taking pot, you're taking drugs, you're drinking out here, that your mind is not right.
That's true. Yeah. And where we're at, we're in a casino.
And you're sedate.
Town, so.
Yeah. You know, you're in a sedate mind. I mean, I walk with people at Walmart, and they're just totally mentally gone. There's no life behind the eyes, and they look at you like they don't really. They look right through you,
and they have no sense of space or surrounding, at all. Yeah.
Oh Lord, it's just really annoying.
Yeah.
You're like in zombie world.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
Let's just call it a day. All right, Jerry?
All right. Ciao, babies.
Good night.